Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Pitchside podcast. We have Thapelo Morena as a guest. How are you, sir?
Good in yourself.
Nice to see you, man. Hlompho?
My brother.
How are you,
I'm
Papa?
alright, how are you?
Sharp.
Sharp.
Guys, let's get to it, man. We traveled to Tunis. We know the hostility that the team had to face that side, and the game of that magnitude, knowing that Tunis also, they had to come out and play and trying to, level the score up. The difficulties in Thapelo, just take us through as to then what did the team go through for them to get to be able to qualify to get to the semifinals?
I think you played against Esperance. Is it 2017? Yeah, 2017. So this one was a bit difficult because we started home and we got a goal, and going to Tunisia, knowing that it's not going to be easy, and obviously arriving in Tunisia, having what happened before when we played them in Loftus. So obviously some of the guys they don't have the experience of that, and it was a bit challenging for some other guys, but obviously knowing when you get in the pitch you have to deliver your A game. And the guys they done very well, and to be honest, obviously the hostility and the atmosphere, it's on another level. So with that they took cope and they done that very well.
I mean, we could see Hlompho, man, even when we're watching the game, you can tell that not many players will be able to sustain the hostility and the pressure that comes with such a game, especially playing in Tunis. You're looking at the crowd. We know what you expect from there. And what do you think was going through the players' mind in the changing room, especially the guys that Thapelo speaks about, guys that haven't been exposed to such hostility?
I'm sure the senior guys, what Thapelo, imagine it could be the senior guys. I'm sure the senior guys, what Thapelo, they played a huge role in making sure that, they paint a picture for the younger ones to say, this is what you must expect, this is what's coming. And I'm sure there's nothing that beat the images. I'm sure they created those images for them, just to prepare them, the mind to say, you're going to come against the 11 in the field, plus those guys outside. Yeah. And I felt the game was a very, matured performance from these guys. When I looked at the match, I looked at players that are now understanding the demands of the Champions League. There were less emotions, and I'm sure they were provoked a lot even before the match on the tunnel. Coming
on
into
social media.
No, it's social media. They are good.
It's true. I also got an DM.
Oh, okay, the DM too. They were ready for you.
You see?
And that has been happening over the years. And I'm sure, like I said, these guys they now understand the demands. I'm sure they went in that match very sober in their approach, and I love the performances of every individual on the bench. Even the ones who started. You can tell that they know what they were doing, and big up to the whole team, including the coaches, because the approach was, we got a goal. We can't be naive and open up and be, trying to explore a lot in that match because, you're gonna, shoot yourself on the foot. They've got dangerous players. When I saw the fullbacks, dealt with the Jan Sase on the right, the Brazilian, like Ribeiro, he likes to dribble, but I didn't see all of those moments. On the other side, I saw when they brought Mokwana, Sailor dealt with him properly. And there was this one guy from Algeria, Belaini. He was the problem.
It's very problematic.
He was the problem. But I thought the two centre-back dealt with him properly. I was happy with the overall performance of the boys in the midfield. We were sober. We used the ball properly. Marcelo Allende, Mokoena, Jaden Adams, the triangles were there. You love the triangles, I'm sure.
What's
but I love that, and I saw that we're not going to concede. When I saw the first 5 minutes when we were on the ball, those are the crucial moment of the match where you don't give the ball away in that particular moment where, of course, they will come. But I saw they were putting the ball on the floor.
But also, some point now, what impressed me as well about Esperance is but they also wanted to play.
Yeah.
It wasn't a team that wanted to provoke the referee and get fouls, and they wanted to play. And that allows Mamelodi Sundowns to also play the way they want to play. Of course, when you have to like now measure pound for pound, of course Mamelodi Sundowns will be more dominant on the ball because of the quality, because of also the understanding of the players as well. And you're rightfully saying, like, also what's impressive as well from Mamelodi Sundowns' point of view is like you look at the players that won the individual battles. You look at Lunga from the left hand side, you know, very solid. Sailor, you know what you're getting from Sailor.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, very sober performance and very you know, smart in a way that we're using the ball very well. When you do have opportunities to actually, you know, pounce Nyano, you had Shalili that was a willing runner, you know, and you have Salas as well that was playing in between those pockets as well. Ribeiro, you know, he wants to draw fouls, but when you have time actually to play the ball simple. And I think the maturity now, especially like you said, with guys that haven't been there, this is a game that actually showed as to then what Champions League is, because you know the group stages is totally different to knockout stages, and now with the results, you look at now what happens now after the game, looking at the great performance, you know, the skipper also came through with those super playing game, you know, at the back. So you look at now the results, Thapelo. What do you think now is happening now at the dressing room? What's the mood like after the type of a game like this?
Yeah, the mood was very high. Everyone was happy, and the thing is, we just need to work from what we were built from the quarterfinals to go to the finals, and that's the most important thing. We need to work hard, and knowing that also we're gonna face Ali, it won't be that easy, and obviously going
So when they send those messages, they must send it directly to you.
I'm not the only one. But to be honest, it's the mentality that we need to work on and put that. Things have changed, man. Things have changed because, you know, before North Africans used to dominate in Champions League. So now tables has changed. So we need to keep that consistency and work from it.
And Hlompho, what would you say or to attribute to the changes that now are happening? Now you look at Mamelodi Sundowns, they number 2 now in the continent as the second best team in the continent. What would you attribute to the changes now that Southern African countries now, they're starting now to really dominate the space that the Northern African teams were dominating for such a long time?
I would say the influence of Mamelodi Sundowns that has participated in this competition for the last 10 years has painted a nice picture, you know, to everybody that wanted to play in the Champions League, that this thing is doable. You know, if you look at the players that are coming from Mamelodi Sundowns going to the national team, I'm sure those national team boys, they'll be like, okay, we want to be in that space, because then it brings them that level of performances every time you participate in a competition. When we won it here, if you remember very well, but the Pirates team has just went to the final, and we were like, no, we better team than all other Pirates. Therefore, we can do it. And that was not because we undermined what Pirates was doing at the time, but we drew some inspiration from there because we know these players in our personal level. You know, when we go to the Bafana, we meet Andile, Opaki, and them. So we'll be like, okay, we want to do this. But when you take it back to Mamelodi Sundowns, because they've been doing this over and over, and the players that are there, they're no longer feeling this traveling that you and I were speaking about. The traveling is too much. Because it's a norm to them. It's something that they've signed up, they're accustomed to. And of course, it's going to have a huge influence in the southern part of Africa, because then now the teams will be like, I think we should adopt what Mamelodi Sundowns is doing when they play in the North Africans. I think we should adopt the game model of what they do, because technically in the Southern African, we play more or less the same. If you go to Zambia, for instance, if you remember where the Zambian wingers, they play more or less of the South African wingers. The midfielders, we can say the same. So they know that when we use the ball correctly, we stand a chance. Back to this match of the previous match, if you look at the way Mamelodi Sundowns played against those North Africans, they deny them their strong weapons to appear in that match, because the set pieces were not there. The free kicks around the box were not there. They required this, smart defending. They're no longer just putting the foot for the sake of putting the foot. You know these things because you have seen them before. So now these things, when you combine them, it's a collection to say, you can take all this, and when you participate in this competition, you'll be on the upper hand because your quality, or you mentioned the quality. The quality is always the higher in Southern African. It's just a matter of collectively playing as a team and know when to kill the matches. Because I feel this is has been our problem over the years in Southern African, that we create opportunities, but we don't bury those opportunities, and that one puts us under stress because those guys, they don't waste time.
No, they just need one opportunity.
They don't waste time, you know them.
And you look at now we have advanced to a stage that it's been eluding us. You know, we've been wanting to get over this hurdle. Now we qualified, we get into the semi-final. So now we find Mamelodi Sundowns in an opportunity of literally, realistically, facing a treble with the league, with the Champions League, and the cup competition that we're about to play, the ones that we have to speak about now. We're playing Kaizer Chiefs over the weekend. The difficulties of playing a game, after playing a game of this magnitude of Esperance, where it's physically demanding, mentally demanding as well, to be able to be concentrating the whole 90 minutes away from home, coming back to play a very, very difficult game against Kaizer Chiefs. Because if you look back, we played Kaizer Chiefs previously. You know, after winning the game, you know, we drop points the next one. We played Orlando Pirates, a very, very demanding physically and mentally game. We drop points after that. So now, what is it that we need to do differently now? Because we come from a game like that. We're playing at such an important game like Kaizer Chiefs in semi-finals on that Bank Cup. Thapelo, what is it that the players need to do to be able to also get into the final?
I think the coach spoke about it after the Kaizer Chiefs game, and I think we were playing golden hours, and we didn't start the game very well. And that's something that the coach has been working on and like has been fighting with, because we know after a big game we tend to take our foot a bit off the pedal, and our games obviously when it starts very slow, but like as Keke said, the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, they are very crucial for us, and that's something that we're gonna have to work on. And knowing also, I think also it's also the game itself that it's gonna be there presented to us, and how do we impose it and play, because of knowing that if we lose against Kaizer Chiefs, we are out of the Nedbank Cup. And so, like you said, treble, we can get the treble. So that's the most important thing, to start the game well, to have the right mentality, and knowing how can we harm Kaizer Chiefs.
And I think to add on what he's saying, he spoke about building from what they've got, which is the mindset of approaching these matches. He mentioned something that they need to build on, the mental toughnesses to take these matches as they come, because the three of us knows how to juggle the matches that are coming differently. So coming from a Champions League, the demands of that. More or less, it's not even about you have to run there. You have to make sure that
your mind needs to be proper.
So coming to the matches of God, when you come to Chiefs match, lots of emotions. So you need to tap into those emotions to know that if this happened, I mustn't react this way. So that is it comes back to the senior guys. Senior guys, to tap on those and to remind the group to know that this match requires
the same attitude.
The same attitude, the sober you, and in how you take this match, you need to make sure that every opportunity counts, because you don't have the tank that Kaizer Chiefs in terms of resting. You've been all over, so it means it needs you to play save energy for some matches, because these matches get the finals, all of them. So when you look at these matches, it means it requires the group to understand that the first minutes are very crucial. If you remember how we used to kill matches, we used to kill them in the very First
15 minutes.
so that we can defend with the ball. And it's easier to defend with the ball because then
You save energy.
You've got quality around to use the ball properly. And then when you have that momentum of using the ball, you will create opportunities because teams will be emotionally and they'll try to come out. And then that allows us to play. But the number one, I think, element is to what he's speaking about, the mental part of it, to tap in those moments that you have done well, especially against these fixtures. You played Kaizer Chiefs 3 times already this year, and all of them you managed to win them.
Yeah.
So this is not a new fixture, to be honest. It's something that happened a month ago. So you still have those references, if you may call that, to know that this team is going to come like this. And more than anything, it's for you to take it.
And also, like you look at Kaizer Chiefs as well, we speak about the rest. We can also tap into when we played Esperance at home, they had 12 to 15 days resting for that game. And we did speak about it also in the podcast that having rest, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have energy to actually play the game, because we end up dominating the game still with them resting 12 to 13 days. So we're back into the same situation. We're playing against a Chiefs team that has been resting. Of course, then it allows other players that were injured, your Duba maybe coming back, your Serino that was suspended when we played them. You're allowing all those players that are coming back. So now, how then do we? I understand that the first few minutes are very important for us to win the game. So that's then the rest then applies also to Kaizer Chiefs, because of you playing a team that they're not playing for the league anymore. They know that the league is gone, and the only hope that they have of some sort of a silverware, it's this. And for them, it is a must-win. And coming into a fixture that they know that Mamelodi Sundowns has been dominating for years, how then do you have a sober mind, also being able to still get the results and still able to perform? Because of you come from, let's not forget, you come from an exhausting, physically and mentally game.
Oh, gee.
Because I know how tough it is from that to this to adjust.
And also to when you get here, you know that obviously you're gonna be playing a team that has been resting. You're not resting, but for me, I take rest as when you rest for too long, you won't get those
the sharpness of the game.
Yes. So when you play every 3 days, 2 days, the unfortunate part now is that the traveling. You see. So that's the unfortunate part, that the way we travel and all that. But the sharpness of the game it's still there, and we know we can dominate the game. The most important thing also is the chances that we create, we need to bury. That's the final.
The Sundowns boys, they don't care about playing in 3 days time. They worry about resting. You guys don't want rest.
No, but it's true. If you rest for too long, you get rusty. Then if you play every 3 games, you get sharper. And
so you prefer to play. Even Rivers said it the other day on
prefer to play.
He'll rather play after 2 days than resting a week, because when you come back, you're no longer the same.
You restart again.
He makes.
So maybe you from 90%, you rest, you go to 40%. In the game, you have to accumulate that 90.
That's
so
too
it's
much.
so when excuse me. So when you're playing, you in that 90, you rest 1 day, you go to, let me say, 75 or 75, 70. Then when match day -1, you just pick it up a bit. Then in the game, you're still in the range. So that's the small details that some of the players and people out don't understand.
Thapelo, so you guys now you're speaking about match day -1. What language is this? So football language. You don't mean football is changing now. You guys are speaking statistics. You're resting today. You're going to back to 65. Now when you go back to the match, you are going to back to. What is this? No, you guys have changed, eh?
No, we learn.
The language, the lingo. I heard the other day they said a player is. You know those passes that Modise used to play, like between the defenders? Apparently now they've got a new way. They said that you're pecking the lines.
You pick the lines.
With
one pass, you pick 4 or 5.
No, so now when I want to explain to my grandfather at home what is packing the bars or picking the line, what am I saying?
No, you must explain it.
Different splitting parts. We used to call it that.
Still the same.
Still the same.
Just the different lingo.
No, so stop playing with English words, guys.
Yes. You can't see that.
So, my gents, the next question will be now. We've seen the way Coach Cardoso has been using the players, rotating, one would say. Now you have this game of this magnitude, where now, do you think now it's advisable to actually do those type of rotation? We've seen at some point, yes, there's other games as well that rotation has been done, especially after a big game, but the results don't go away. Now, do you think now it's going to be it will be advisable to actually do that, because you still want to win the game, and you still want, like we spoke about, the freshness. It's important, because now you still have to count traveling as training, right? So now, how then do you, as a coach, now approach this game from a personnel point of view, not from the results? From now, okay, this game needs Thapelo, needs this, because you speak about momentum, you speak about in too much rest, and then because then you have to restart again. Now you're from guys that have really, really worked well. You want them to continue again against Kaizer Chiefs, a game also that might have its own heartbeat, own challenges. Then now, how do you then approach such a game?
Especially that this one is a cup match.
Yeah.
Difficult one.
It might go to extra time, you might do this. So how then do you?
If you recall the match of 𝐏𝐤𝐭𝐜𝐴 United, the match dragged too long. And I think it was really the result of resting the starters. So this thing, it's a short winter blanket. Because when you look at it, it's like when you don't start the starters, they don't have the momentum of the last matches. He speaks about that. You need continuity in the matches. And if you rest them and you start the ones that were not starting, then you must expect the low start. Some movement will not be coordinated, because these guys, they don't have a proper relationship in the match day. Now, as a coach, I think you'll have this headache. He's got a cheese cup like me, of course, he'll be scratching that cheese cup. But my point I'm trying to make is, there's crucial positions that you guys know that we cannot compromise on them. And those positions are the ones making Mamelodi Sundowns team to play properly. And if we take those positions into consideration in this kind of a fixture, then half of the job is done. And I would love to see that happening, because then you're not only killing the game, but you're balancing the match, the team. Because if you look at the 𝐏𝐤𝐭𝐜𝐴 match, the reason why in the first 20 minutes we didn't have the balance of the game is because of that. We had Marcelo, we had Neo, we had Esquivel. If you check of both of them, or the three of them, they're good on the ball, but there's certain positions they don't occupy, and naturally so, because they are not those kind of players. That's why you saw Cupido coming on the midfield, to try to add a number, because that position is very important for Mamelodi Sundowns. You have to have your triangles to come out of the build-up. You're playing about commodity now. But I think this match on its own is going to require the regulars in crucial positions.
Will you Thapelo, your take?
We whoever gets in the field on Sunday against Chiefs, they must know that it's not just a fixture, it's the tournament that the cup was with us before, and now it's out of our hands. So we need to bring it back, and we're going to have to fight. We win against Chiefs, everything will open up.
And I think it's important as well to move on to the next phase of this tournament, to get into the final. And of course, we all know that getting to those type of finals, you have to still play, your rivals. You have to play big games, because it is, that time of the season where every game becomes important. And lucky are Mamelodi Sundowns being able to in a position to say we're fighting for treble. There's people, there's teams that are fighting for their lives, fighting for the contract. So we should, like Thapelo said, we should get into the field knowing that, guys, we're playing for honors. We're playing to be on the podium. As exhausted I might be mentally, as physically, but sometimes the game might carry me because of the fans, because of the atmosphere, because of the mood, might carry me. I might even forget that I'm actually exhausted because we've played such games before where you're going in, Leoma, people like, it's training. But once the game starts, all those things, because now your adrenaline takes over. And I think it becomes such an important fixture because then, as much as Mamelodi Sundowns, because I strongly believe that what will get us to those finishing lines is remember how we started the season.
It reminds me of Pizzo in the bubble. This I was tired. So I'm tired. I'm sitting there. It's like Coach. Coach Pizzo used to ask her, "Who wants to start?" And everybody be like, and then Pizzo is so my hand is down. So he came. Brakeke, I don't want to see your hands down. I want this medal, please. And I felt it there that he understands the importance of playing for one another. More than anything, he knows that when we win, it's not only him. The group wins the medal. And he's speaking about the podium. You embrace this moment. When you feel
you realize already all the work that I've been doing the whole season. It comes to this, and for you to get that, you must understand that you're gonna have to feel pain. You're gonna have to play exhausted. Sometimes you need to play with a little bit of a 𝐏𝐤𝐿𝐴 enkele ruhile. You have to strap it, so you can't just play the whole season to get to this space with just the same level. And I think that's what excites. The players that when they get to the podium, it's a reward, and I think we do have an opportunity to get to that podium. I mean, guys, we lost two cup competition this year. You understand? We lost an MTN8 in the beginning of the season. We lost the final in Cullen Black Label. So we have an opportunity to come back into the podium. Mamelodi Sundowns is known to be on the podium every season, and this is an opportunity, Thapelo, for the players as well. It's crunch time, it's crucial time, where everybody becomes important, whether the team has been changed or not. I think we are a team now that has understood and learned as to then you can still win the games without having a rhythm. Because it's important, because at the end of the day, you can sit back and say, but we didn't play well, but you've got the results in your back. Unlike, playing so well and still lose the game. So I think it's important to come Sunday. We know that the crowd is going to be, it's going to be insane because of how this game is being played, especially from the fans' point of view. I think it's one of those bragging rights type of a game. And we're playing a team that we've been dominating. Those tables can change. We spoke about the tables that have changed from a North African team dominating. This table can change anytime. And I think it's an important game for the players to actually win and move on to the next, irrespective of how they play.
Zero pressure. You don't have pressure to do that.
No, but signing for Mamelodi Sundowns is pressure.
But there's always pressure for you guys. I was about to say that there's pressure for you guys. From the change room, the demands. You want that to happen because you know the importance of winning football matches in this club. Teko has put it rightly so to say, the Mamelodi Sundowns team, we all want to see you on the podium because we believe that you're playing the best football in the continent. This is the reward. You can reward yourself. This moment to say we're playing to go there and let's take the medals. You know what I mean? And this time around, the Nedbank Camp will give it to me.
Medal? No, I'll give it to you. Don't know.
You don't need it. You've got so many.
What about? But I get it to Soneg. It's a trophy to buy. Actually, it's a medal to buy.
No. Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence, Hlompho, as always. To Mamelodi Sundowns fans, I think it's important to see you in numbers on Sunday against Kaizer Chiefs in the Nedbank Cup semi-final. We know that your support goes a long way for the boys to be able to perform to their maximum. And please come in numbers, come early, come witness Mamelodi Sundowns play the most beautiful football that we've been witnessing all over the years. And now that Mamelodi Sundowns is number 2 in the continent, which means we are one of the best in the continent. So for us to do that, for us to actually cement that place, is to see our team being on the podium every season. 𝐏𝐤𝐿𝐴, this is another episode of the Pitch Chat podcast.
𝐏𝐤𝐿𝐴.